Making a Stuart model steam plant, part 52. Another bad day for logistics and scam phone calls. But I'm in my workshop removing paint, drilling some holes in the baseboard, then routing a slot underneath to hide the wiring that will connect the lamps to the generator. The heading says another bad day for logistics, so here's the logistics part. This is my vocal booth in the studio where I edit and voice over the videos like this one that you're watching. And on screen at the moment is the dictionary definition of logistics, the commercial activity of transporting goods to customers. Recently, I have had a technical issue in my main studio, which is in another room. And to make the studio work, I had to borrow the red box that you can see in this image. But now it's back in place where it normally lives because I bought another one. And that's where the problem started. Instead of delivering the part to me, the driver just took a random photograph of someone's back garden. Quite nice it was too. He was obviously in the wrong place, so he just returned the part to the depot, and I got various communications saying, "Sorry we missed you." 3 days later, I still do not have the part that I desperately need. I've refitted the small red box where it normally lives in the vocal booth, and I'm using it at the moment. It's what translates my voice into something the computer can understand. In this clip, I'm in the workshop and I'm cleaning up this Stuart S50. There are some scratch marks on the guide bars for the crosshead. I think I possibly will remove these entirely. For the moment, I'm seeing how deep they are by using some Scotch-Brite followed by some wet dry sandpaper. And this tells me that in order to remove the marks on the top of the guide bars, I need to take them off the engine and use my belt sander probably. I'm not going to remove them just yet. What I need to do first is get rid of all this awful black paint, which is incredibly thick. I think it was painted with a tar brush. The black paint on the flywheel isn't too bad, so using an Allen key, I slackened off the grub screw and I'm about to remove the flywheel. Now all I need is a powerful solvent to dissolve the paint. The problem is though, I'm right at the end of my supply of this stuff. I need to buy some more. These days this is what I use. It's called Gun Wash. It is a professional solvent-based cleaner designed to restore spray paint guns and other equipment. With the S50 sat in a polythene tub, I'm pouring on what's left of my gun wash. The reason that the liquid is dirty is because I do reuse it, and it lasts quite a long time, but finally I've come to the end of this supply and I will buy some more. I'm scheduled to go over to West Yorkshire next Friday to make a bit of a video about welding. When I'm over there, I'll call into a place that I use very frequently called Auto Paint Northern and buy some more cellulose thinner. What I'm doing at the moment at this stage of the operation is a bit unnecessary. I'm using an old toothbrush just to clean off any dirt or grime that may stop this solvent from doing its job. The solvent needs to contact the paint in order to dissolve it. After doing this, I put the S50 in the plastic tub in the outer part of the workshop. At this stage I hadn't fully decided which was the best place to put the pump. Should I fit it this way round? Well, no, because then you'd need to put your hand right round the back of the plant to pump the water into the boiler. I decided to fit it this way around, because then the water pipe from the outlet of the pump can go past the burner inside the boiler right round to the economizer that's fitted to the condenser, and this should result in the feed water that goes into the boiler being preheated by the pipe passing the burner and the economizer coil in the condenser. The plan being that the water that enters the boiler will be preheated and therefore the boiler pressure won't drop quite as much. In the previous episode where I was showing the marking out on the baseboard for the position of the parts, I did mention not to use a felt tip pen, and here's why. I've used the felt tip pen against my better judgment to mark the position of the holes where I'm going to drill mounting holes for the pump, and as you can see, the ink from the felt tip deep hole marker that I use is spreading out along the grain. This doesn't matter because it is underneath the pump, but it does illustrate the point of why I use a pencil for marking out on the board, not a felt tip pen. I mark the position on the baseboard for the lamps using a pencil, and here I'm drilling a hole in the centre of the square. And this clip shows me drilling a hole in the centre of the square at the other side. Now it's time to try out for real my small Proxon router attachment. Not a router, In England we call it a router. Some viewers may be wondering, why did I bother buying such a small, feeble router attachment for a mini drill? Why didn't I buy a mini router? And why am I using a modified slot drill to cut the wood? Well, the reason is I don't really think I'm going to be doing much routing after this, so it's a bit pointless buying a set of tools, and the ones I've seen don't look too good anyway. This slot drill that I turned down in the lathe seems to be doing the job quite well. And the good thing about this very small tool is that it's not blowing sawdust all over the bench. The sawdust it makes is very fine and it tends to stay in the proximity of the slot. And okay, maybe the slot is a bit too small and it's a little bit uneven in places, but by the time it's all finished you won't even know it's there. This is the first of the slots I'm cutting. I do need to cut another slot to accept the wires from the generator, but I don't yet know where the generator is going to be positioned on the baseboard exactly, so I'll wait until I do, then I'll drill a hole and route everything together. You'll see how I do this in a future episode. All I'm concerned with at the moment is routing this slot between the two holes where the wires will go up and feed the lamps. I think it's time to speed things up. This is running at 4 times normal speed. And it's still not making that much mess. Most of the sawdust is confined to the area immediately around the slot, and that is easily removed once again using my Henry vacuum cleaner. A while back I cut a piece of wood on the bench using a jigsaw, and I was cleaning up sawdust for about 3 days afterwards, so I'm pleased with this altogether. And for a hobbyist it's ideal. You can actually route a piece of wood on the kitchen table, or even I suppose on a coffee table in the lounge, without any fear of getting sawdust on the carpet. The slot is now finished. It's deep enough to accept the wiring. All I'm doing now is smoothing everything out with some sandpaper. This once again is making a bit of mess, quickly taken care of by the vacuum cleaner. Time to look at the wiring I'm going to use, and here it is. I have a few rolls of this, and I've selected a black roll and a red roll. And here I'm cutting a matched pair of wires to length. In this clip I'm drilling a larger hole through the 2 holes I drilled previously with a pilot drill. And as you can clearly see, the cable fits very well. The groove is just the right depth. I don't want it to be too deep because it would of course weaken the baseboard. And when I turn the baseboard over it looks like this. 2 wires, 1 for each lamp. The red wire will connect to the existing wire that goes all the way up to the centre part of the bulb holder, and the black wire will be connected directly to the base casting of the lamp itself. And that is it for this video. Another job completed. The plant is starting to take shape at last. And believe it or not, a few moments ago I received an email communication from the logistics company telling me that they'd delivered my parcel to a local supermarket for me to pick up. This is logistics incompetence at its best. They can't find my house, but I can. And even before I lived here I could find it, so why cannot a delivery driver find my house? I give in. And the phone's just rung with yet another scam call. I'm getting a lot of these this week, I don't know why. A man calling himself John with a very suspicious Asian accent is trying to sell me something. A while back a very good friend of mine, who was called Mark Sykes, died, which was very sad. But before he died, he received a call from someone who said, "Hello, is that Sykes Maruk?" Mark Sykes to Sykes Maruk. Interesting. Like most people, I really can't be doing with these scam callers. Stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.